Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Hurrdat Media Network.
Day 2 of our fancy new headphones.
These are great.
You like them?
I feel so cool.
Doesn't it feel good? I love it.
Chris Gorman from
I feel like
Hurrdat
Nick Baugh.
Media. Yeah, you look just like Nick Baugh.
Stop. I get that all the time.
Yeah. Like, is that Nick Baugh? No, it's just Chris Gorman.
It's Chris Gorman. It's okay.
We do, but it is kind of nice because we warmed him up yesterday on our episode because we knew we were having a pretty legit guest today who is used to wearing headphones and a helmet. Mm-hmm. Clayton Anderson, the Nebraska astronaut.
Yep.
Houston, have these been disinfected for COVID?
That is affirmative.
They're right out of the package.
Yeah, actually, yours is new, and yours. Yeah, yours is new, and yours is new. Yours could be infected. Chris.
That was mine.
Yeah,
I'm
very
much relaxed now. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing that.
New is new. So so excited that you're actually in town. Woo! Which is super exciting. And as we speak, it's Thursday because this is going up Thursday, right? Today.
It's today.
Thank you. So it is going out today. So are you going to be anywhere people can see you in the next couple of days?
Oh, funny you should ask.
Just teeing it up, dude. I'm just.
Oh my God, it's right down the fairway. I will be at the Strategic Air Command and Aerospace Museum this Saturday from approximately 3:30 to 5. And I have a new children's book out called Letters from Space. I'll be reading part of that. And then I will also be signing autographs.
It's right behind you on that big, huge, fancy screen.
Look.
That's your
wow,
logo.
you guys have stepped into the 21st century.
We've stepped up our game quite a bit.
Just a little bit.
We'll be doing that. And then I believe the museum has things going on all day with respect to my appearance. So I have given them tons of memorabilia from space and things, but a lot of it's not on display at this time simply because, they need space. They need places to display it and the hardware to hold the stuff.
Sure.
So they're going to have a lot of that stuff out so that people can look at it and see it that isn't usually on display. So that's exciting. I'm not sure what it'll be.
and forgive me if we've already talked about this, but when we were still on the radio a long time ago, you had a campaign to get your suit brought back here.
Yes.
It's here?
Yes, plus 2 other suits.
Wow.
So
you had to change of clothes up there?
What?
Not really. That's another good story though. But
speaking of earmark that, because I want to come back to underpants.
Write that down.
Go right ahead. I got that right here.
So a quick story so I got an email from a friend and said, look at this eBay link. And I looked at the link and it was my flown in space Russian Sokol suit gloves. So for sale for $4,000.
Wow.
They have my initials on them.
Wow.
K.A., which is Clay in Russian, right? And I go, I've been trying to get those for years.
That's crazy.
I asked NASA to help me get them, and NASA sent one letter, and Russia said, "Нет, no gloves, нет, no perchatki, Clayton." And so then I've kind of out of sight, out of mind, right? So I get this email, so I buy them. Sue and I buy them. We didn't really have $4,000, but we bought them anyway. So then the guy goes, I get an email a couple weeks later, Clayton.
Oh, yeah.
Would you be interested in your Sokol suit? We have your boots, your backup gloves, all of your stuff, and a set of underwear. So then I go, I want it.
I want them.
And I said, how much? $50K.
Jeez.
Yeah, which is what I did, except then I had to change my underwear. But I said, I really want it. Give me time. I will get the money. So I reached out to several of my friends. I got Chip Davis stepped right up. He texted me $10,000.
That's awesome.
And I matched his donation. And then I went to a couple other people. The First National Bank of Omaha ended up helping because I asked the museum, said, I'm getting this for you to put in the museum, so can you help me? And they were really good. They had some donors and some foundations, and we ended up raising $75,000, which was the suit plus the big thing to hold the suit in.
Nice.
And we got that. So then I found out later, Clay, we have your Pharrell suit and your winter survival gear, which is not really true.
What's a
Pharrell means trout.
Not Farrell.
In Russian, Pharrell. Okay.
It's not Farrell.
So
Farrell
can
suit.
you guess where that suit is worn?
It's out in the wild, where the feral things live.
Pharrell for trout.
Oh, in the water?
Yes.
That's where Aquanaut comes from.
Got it.
So it's
okay.
your water survival suit, and it's big and it's orange, and it's at the museum now because the museum stepped up and bought that. And then they bought a version of my winter survival gear, which is a bunny suit basically, but it wasn't mine. but it's the same kind. So we bought all that. So we have the whole set of Russian
That's so awesome.
Wow.
suits, and they're on display, and that's pretty cool.
That's quite a nice little slow roll that they played on you, wasn't it?
Right? Oh, and one more thing. And one more thing.
Let's see if he'll buy the gloves.
Well, now I'm on his email list, right? So Clay, you may be interested in this suit.
I can only imagine. I love it.
Before we get too far away from clothes, I want to talk about underpants for a second. You and your lovely wife, Susan, who's here on a meeting, we were talking out in the hallway with Chris because he's a space fanatic, loves space.
That's a nicer way than you've been putting it.
Yeah,
the last few
where
days.
since we're recording, I
Do you
won't
have
say
anything
that.
feeling crawling up your leg or anything like that?
No, I don't.
Not yet.
Okay. Not yet.
So you guys
can
were
edit
talking
that out.
that you have underwear at your house or wherever that was worn in space, not washed, worn in space. Like,
Well, so
because I know there's a market for everything. Clay, I'm just trying to get you some scratch if you need some.
I appreciate
some
that.
Because
retirement
someone may
money.
be calling.
I
like,
appreciate that very much.
Can I interest you in some solid underpants?
713. So when I flew on the space station, I wore Hanes white boxers. Okay. And not tidy whities.
Okay.
And that was a good thing because my Russian buddies, they wore American tidy whities. And when you see that every morning,
Ew.
Nah.
yeah, you don't need
Tidy
those.
whities are just rough anyway. I don't
That's
care
what
if you're
he's
David
just-
Beckham or whatever,
And in
or Russian.
Zero gravity, you want to be free. So
I never thought about that.
Right?
You're like, no, dude, it's just zero gravity. I'm not that excited.
I'm sure it's
just
such a
zero
struggle
gravity.
to carry the weight, but whatever.
It's just, well, you get out of the shower and it's like, like, no, get down.
Oh my God.
please remember your waiters and waitresses. Clay will be here all week with Pat. So
I'll be your warm up guy.
well, so I went through that 5 months, and you get, in all honesty, you get a piece of paper that's provided for you by the folks, the NASA folks, that tell you how long you're supposed to wear each article of clothing. I recently posted that on a copy of mine from my
I saw it because it was
crew notebook.
It was kind of like how to pack for space of what you need.
What?
What you're going to need
But it's
to pack.
packed for
Right.
you.
Right.
And so then if I took a plastic bag of Hanes boxers, I pulled them out and I put them in my sleep station. So then you have a certain number of days you're supposed to wear each pair. And my joke has always been that 4 days is, and it's actually said 2 when I looked at it, which I couldn't believe. I always thought it was 4. So.
Dang it. Always had extras left over when he got back home.
But I said if you wear them for 4, and then if you turn them inside out, you get 4 more days. And if you turn them around backwards, you get 4 more days after that. And then you turn them right side out. So you can go all the way to 16 days in one pair of underwear.
Right.
Easily.
Right. Easily.
And so that's what I tried to do because I am trying to help the United States government and taxpayers.
Yep, exactly.
But then I went back to space in 2010 on the space shuttle, and this is a true story. So you go over to the shuttle people, and you're looking at your gear, what kind of toothpaste you want, what kind of deodorant do you want, because it's all per your personal preference. And so the lady comes up to me and she goes, "What kind of underwear do you want?" I go, "Surprise me."
That sounds almost creepy, kind of.
And I said, the only thing I don't want is tidy whities, because I would learn from video and stuff that when you wear in space station, you wear tennis golf shorts kind of and your tidy whities, and when you float and the video camera's on you,
Oh, yeah.
people can be upset
Oh,
You can get a view.
for the same reasons Pat was talking about earlier.
right.
No. So I just told her I wanted, something. I wanted Hanes. That was an okay brand, right? And would you surprise me? And I want them to be the kind that go down your leg about halfway that are snug.
Got it.
And she was so awesome. They're red, white, and blue.
Oh, my God.
And they're really cool, and I just loved them. And
Is there
so,
any? Oh, that's real quick. Did Hanes make these specifically for NASA?
nah,
They're available
they just
everywhere.
go buy them at Walmart, or Target, or-
Walmart space undies.
What are you doing today? I'm buying astronaut undies.
Yes.
Now, see, NASA could really jump on this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Walmart, the home of astronaut undies, but I don't know if they're there yet. But
They want to
anyway,
make a
They
buck.
should, right?
but they're working on it because they're taking some L'Oreal or some, Sue would know the name, but it's a
Makeup.
company. They're doing a
Cosmetics.
photo shoot in space because they're starting to go commercial on all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
really?
So many.
Yeah.
I was
So-
just talking to Susan about that too. Just
Who needs
the
makeup in
commercial.
space anyway? Like you're in space,
Well,
you're
it's
working.
because of-
creams and stuff. It's stuff
Yeah.
for your skin.
Oh, to see like
The-
science. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but it's not a science experiment. It's just they're going to pay and then the astronauts are going to take pictures of the stuff floating in zero
Right,
gravity.
because
So-
everything's becoming more commercialized,
Right,
and so you're going to
Yeah.
have more companies that are going into space or trying to go into
Mm-hmm.
space, and now they can market that because NASA wasn't marketing that.
Exactly.
They didn't want L'Oreal to be on board.
They were actually adamantly against it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
So on the
'Cause-
launch that we watched, it was Adidas that was sending up Ultra Boost pellets.
And
then
what
it was,
launch were you on real quick before people? It was the Elon Musk one.
Yeah,
March.
SpaceX
SpaceX, just
CRS-20.
a couple years ago. Okay.
I wasn't on it.
No,
I
you
was
were at the
near it.
launch. Yeah.
I wanted to get on it, but they wouldn't. The
cargo
fence was high.
resupply mission to the
Yes.
International Space Station.
There you go.
And then
Okay,
it was
sorry.
Delta too. So Delta faucets are like, this is how we're going to make the best shower. And so it was there's like,
There you go.
like
All these
we had
products.
like 10 of these like products that are like
Right.
Adidas and Delta and somebody else and somebody else. So yeah, very commercialized, more so than I thought it was going to be when we
Oh
were
yeah.
there.
Everybody wants a piece of
And
space
Tom Cruise is going to go up supposedly
yeah.
and film a movie and yeah,
Really?
yeah. Oh yeah.
because he does all his own stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be it's going to be crazy. I just want to see him puke on camera.
One time. One time.
And I could make him puke.
I bet you could. Did you puke in? Wasn't that one thing? The plane that you go up in the zero gravity
Yeah.
plane. The
vomit comet.
Vomit comet. There you go.
Vomit
Did you ever
comet.
vomit in the comet?
Yeah, my very first time in 1981, I had just gotten to NASA as a summer intern, and I found out you could volunteer
to throw up.
to go. Yeah,
I would do that too, though.
I did
That'd be
the
awesome.
training.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I showed up, and we were supposed to fly. Believe it. This is another true story. John Denver, the singer, was supposed to be on board with us that day, and Time Magazine was there to record John Denver. Right. So we get on this plane, and we're waiting for John Denver, and we find out he's bagged. He's backed out. But here were all these reporter, journalist type people there.
Wow, really? And they're
So-
like, wait, what a second. Where's John?
So I watched some lady barf chunks on like the fourth parabola, and we had 44 to go. Right, you do 11 and then you rest for a minute, and 11, so 4 times. Right, she barfs on the fourth one.
Wow.
And so now she's green, khaki green, and she's down on the floor, and trying to sleep it off. Right, and then so they buckle her in her seat, and she makes it through. But I didn't yak till 33. And I didn't have anything in my stomach, so it was a bile yak, right?
Yeah.
Which was really nice, and it creeped up the side of my face. Oh, because nobody teaches you how to use the barf bag, right? You have to put it over your face, and you have to seal it. Otherwise, if you leave an opening in zero G, boy, that stuff will find its way out.
You don't think about that
my
stuff.
God.
That's the
No.
unsexy side of zero G.
So you guys are strapped in though.
No, what you
Well,
are
you're strapped in, then you-
till you get to altitude, and then they say, okay, you're free to move about the cabin.
Right. That's where that comes from. Okay.
And then, when you hit zero G, that's when you float, right? And it's
Yeah.
really cool. Well, a lot of these people from the magazine were, oh man, they start flipping and spinning, and you don't want to do that right out of the gate because your brain says, what the
Yeah,
hell?
WTF.
Right?
And
Big
then
time.
then it's fill the bag. So FTB.
FTP.
And
Wow.
so I watched her and I tried to, we sucked on peppermint candy to keep your mouth from drying out, right? Because those are all the telltale signs that you're going to yak. And I made it through that one, but then I would fly it multiple more times. And the second time I had to give blood. That was part of the experiment that I agreed to. So I'm in zero G.
Oh, really?
And they're taking my blood, and I'm trying not to puke. So that was a tough one. But I didn't.
Okay.
And the more I flew it, it's like anything, the more you do it,
Yeah.
the more
used to
your
it.
brain goes, oh, I think I remember this. I didn't like
That's-
it, but I remember it.
Do you remember the ride like at the county fair that spins really fast and you're up
Oh,
against the
up
outside
against
of
the
it?
wall?
What's that called?
Tilt-a-whirl?
Centrifugal.
Oh, that thing, yeah.
Centrifugal and then they drop the floor out.
It's like there's something, and there was also like the barn.
I
It was like
loved that.
Did you?
Oh my gosh, because you were just held up against the edge
Yeah.
without. And they dropped the floor and there is
That's so weak. So
F equals
sorry.
R omega.
so fun. Was that?
F equals R omega.
I don't know what that
That's a
means.
smart geometry thing,
I
I
don't know what
think.
that is. I didn't take that class.
I definitely
I
didn't take
cheated
that
off
class.
of Pat's paper. So
Okay.
And you made it to space. Wow, that's rough, man.
I think I got a D.
You
But,
got it. So back to Walmart undies. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
so they picked this out for me, and I had these pair. In space, you want to be frugal, and as a space station guy first, I was always thinking frugal before, and because when I flew on the space station for 152 days, the shuttle guys docked in August, and every day they came over with a freaking brand new shirt, different with a logo for their mission on it.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm going, what And so I complained, right? I said, I had one shirt for like a
You're on
month.
day 12 of your underpants.
I know.
Right,
And
that's rough,
And they're coming
man.
over in fresh, clean,
to
beautiful
toe.
clothes with logos and stuff. And so I bitched. And now it's better for the space station.
I bitched and, and that's going to be the name of this podcast. I bitched and now it's better.
So, it was one of the deals where when I went back then, I still was frugal. I didn't wear the underwear one day and then put it in the trash because
Right.
you're also building up trash. You don't save any of this stuff.
Right.
And so you're building up. So what I did probably against the rules was when I finished wearing a pair of underwear, I would check it. And if it was okay, I'd roll it up and put it back in my clothing drawer. Mm-hmm. And so when I came home, I said, I want everything in my clothing drawer, including my underwear. So they gave it to me and they washed the ones that are not worn are rolled up tightly and have a piece of that clear tape on it, kind of like you find them in Walmart,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And so you knew that one wasn't worn. So I have those, and then I have the ones. So what I do
Worn
is
in
if I
space.
provide one for a Larry the Cable Guy or something foundation where they can auction it off, I say, you get to guess whether it was it flew in space, but was it worn in space?
Yes. Both valuable, but significant
One
difference.
could be more valuable than the other.
Exactly
To the right buyer.
That's
Or to the right
interesting, though.
detective seeking DNA analysis.
Well, that too. Yeah, because you seriously, you think about when you're in space. First off, you don't think about NASA as being frugal. You know what I mean? Because it costs billions of dollars.
Right.
Everything that they've done
Yep.
over the years.
$23 million toilet just went up.
There you go.
$23 million toilet.
But
I'm bitching about a $250 one.
you got
Thanks to Obama, we have to get special flushers. It's super expensive. Right.
you can buy on the black market.
Oh, I
I'm
know.
Just saying.
My wife found them.
Okay, good. Anyway, but yeah, you don't think
Clay,
about
you need special flusher.
tap your sources. I want to see what we can get. But seriously, you don't think about it as being frugal, but it has to be because you think about all these projects that have come together. It's amazing that it blows my mind that things can, they put together the sketches, they put together the bids, they put together everything together, and it all works.
Yeah,
Which-
and that's where the cost is,
Yeah,
right?
the people.
We're the tip of the spear that flies on the end, but all that went together. And when you just simply talk about food and clothing on the space station, they're thinking months ahead, and they're having to launch a cargo vehicle of SpaceX to get to the space station successfully, and then you think about, well, what if one explodes, which one did a while back. Now you're set back how many months, and so all that's where the cost really lies.
And also having trash on board because I'm sure when they go up, they take some of the trash back
You
with
can
them,
just
right?
open up the window and then you just
Right.
I think they
Like
frown
this-
on that.
They
I'm
did
not-
that in the old days.
Did
used
they?
They used to have a docking port on the Russian space stations. The old days, the Soyuz and stuff, where you stuffed your trash in, close the door, and then you depressurize and shoot it out.
But what is it? I would think that just makes sense. Like space is infinite, like forever. Can't you just throw your stuff out? Because they do that with Pete, like did on Apollo 11.
Right.
Like
you have to be directional. So if I shoot it out in the right direction, it will lower its orbit until it hits the atmosphere and burns up
Burn
due to
up.
Okay.
friction. And that's what we do today.
Oh, okay.
Which is one of my big questions for a Mars trip. What do you do with extra feces and urine and clothes and all that stuff? Where do you shoot it? If you shoot it out now, you are shooting it into infinite space. Oh, space is big. No one will care. And
No
then
one
some
will.
alien gets right upside the head. Yeah. Hey, that pissed me off.
Right.
War.
war. Hashtag war.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
Yeah.
And so but nowadays when a cargo ship from SpaceX or from Russia or from Japan or from Europe, we have them from multiple places. When they come up and we empty them right away because we want what's in it, and then we begin to stuff what we don't want back into it, it will undock and then burn up in the atmosphere.
Wow.
And,
Oh, I didn't
and
know
that
that.
was
That's
interesting too, because when I was there and Oleg was in charge of that. Oleg Kotov was our Soyuz commander, and he was second command on the station, so he was in charge of trash and stuff. And you have the hatch open on a Soyuz that's being stuffed with trash, and it smells just like when you guys go downstairs behind the place and there's a dumpster there and you lift
Just
the lid
like
up
trash.
and go, hey, I'm looking for those sneakers I lost. And, oh, God.
It's just rough.
It smells, right?
Yeah.
And so that you have to deal with that. And then he used to come to me and he'd say, Clay, do you have any clothes you want to get rid of? And so we, bathed with towels, that sort of thing. So he'd roll them up tightly and he'd use that to stuff and pack around things that were sharp edged or whatever.
Oh.
So there's a lot of thought that goes into the way you unpack, and then repack to take it home, because you want as much in there as you can. Right? And you want it to be CG stable so that when it does undock and heads for the Earth atmosphere, it does what you want it to to do. So
God, that's
I mean, it's not
crazy.
just you're just not silly
No.
willy throwing things out the window, right?
No, that's
No.
that's unbelievable.
and there you go. Underwear
That's-
is available.
Underwear.
That's right.
That's right. You should have that on your,
Astroclay.com.
do you have a merch line?
I do now. It's unifygood.com and then / Astroclay, and
Astroclay.
you can go to a merchandise page. And then we're going to unveil my new website. Astroclay.com is coming out here, hopefully before the end of the month, and it will have that as well. So I have merchandise that you can get now, which is kind of
Underpants.
cool.
Underpants.
Well,
Seriously,
those are
underpants would be
special though.
Not those underpants.
Oh, not those.
No,
I was
just-
just
yeah.
similar to the ones that you wore in space. You can have just like an astronaut.
I'll autograph these for you for
Yeah.
a small fee.
Right. I would think that'd be perfect.
Yeah, that'd be
I'll
awesome.
look
Right?
into that.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no.
God.
That's why we're here.
So this is going to be at least a 3-part, maybe a 4-part podcast. We have 2 other things for sure. I know that Chris has some questions for you.
Okay.
Really
And
in depth. Too.
Really in depth. He's just looking for, and these will be answers you've got.
Houston, go ahead with questions. Over.
Okay, co-pilot.
We're interviewing Tom Osborne tomorrow, and I'm more excited about this one.
I know. Yeah. Like, it's rainy, crappy, and cold, and he drove from Lincoln.
Just so you know, tell Tom I said Clayton says hi. We
will.
And then, did you know that he and I have the same birthday?
No.
He and I went to Hastings College.
Yes, I did know that.
And he and I both had the same calculus teacher named Jim Stanley,
I'm gonna write
who
that down.
passed away. And you can ask him about the time that Jim Stanley slipped on the ice and broke his hip, and Tom Osborne carried him to
Like
the
fireman's
He
carry.
is an
to the
Ameri-
infirmary.
He is an American hero.
He is.
Yeah,
That's-
as if that.
I mean,
as if
right.
Everything
Can you
else
get
wasn't
any better?
enough, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And he, if you ever watch the Nebraska Educational TV documentary about me, you'll see when I'd met him before, but I actually got to go to his office when he was the AD, and I presented him with a flown in space Nebraska flag and some other stuff, and
That's all. That's pretty cool.
yeah, that's a good story to ask Susan, because we almost missed our flight, and she was freaking out because I didn't know I was going to meet Osborne. She'd set all this up
Oh
with the
my
NET
God.
people, right? Because they were going to film it.
To get your like a surprise reaction.
So like I'm driving, going up to Nebraska, and we're going to do this. We're going to do
Taking
that.
your time.
and we're late, and there's an accident, and she's freaking out. My
And you're
wife,
probably like,
she never freaks out.
we can take a later flight, man. No big deal.
She's calling on her phone to get different reservations.
You got to think something's up at that point. You're like, what's going on?
Actually, I was pretty oblivious. Even
Looking
still,
back.
in general,
I said we can drive home and go tomorrow. No, we can't.
like, what is wrong?
So,
Where's my calm, cool wife?
I don't know. It's just but it's a good story. And then when you see the film, and Cole was there, and I believe Sutton,
Which is his son.
Sutton with us, my daughter. And
Yeah.
That's very
That's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
And congratulations to your son, too, by the way.
Oh yes, he's engaged to be married. Yeah.
That's really cool. And she's a Nebraska girl, which is really cool.
And an Iowa State athlete swimmer, and he's an Iowa State footballer, so it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
All right, I'm going to turn you over to Chris.
Okay.
Are you
Okay.
ready?
So, resident
Is there any
space
rules?
groupie.
There's no rules.
Okay.
This isn't a game, is it?
No, we have the games
This
coming up
is
in a second.
games.
We're
We
gonna-
got a game
yeah, we've
coming
got
up.
a game coming up for you in just a second. We're gonna see what you remember about the emergency alert system in the shuttle. So we're gonna play that in here just a
Oh
little bit.
God. We're all gonna die.
Well, I got to change the name of the game.
Okay, what do you got, Chris?
So in high school, I tried to get other people to do my homework for me. So I asked members of the CRS-20 NASA social mission. We weren't a mission. They just invited a bunch of social media dorks to come down, and
Which is cool.
it was really cool. Well, and
How'd you get in then?
He already knows you.
So we went down. Well, they actually scrubbed the mission one time, and then it got kicked out a couple weeks later. So it was awesome. So we were so excited for it. So we were in this group for weeks, and we were just, all these people are much smarter than I am. So any question that I would have pales into what they did. So I asked them yesterday, and I had them ask some questions. So
Did they know you were going to ask them of me?
yep, they did.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
So they know.
So it's loaded. It's loaded.
So first question, Jasmine Tworick says, what are the psychological preparation, or what is the psychological preparation or program like for astronauts in space?
When I flew, it was pretty much non-existent.
Wow.
I remember I got a briefing, PowerPoint charts. We flipped through with some psych guy from NASA, and he was a former military guy. And basically, the bottom line he told me at the end was, "Hey, dude, you're on your own. Good luck." He said, "You're not going to get much help from anybody, so you're on your own." And then Susan, my wife, had to take. She had to meet with them for something, and it was a similar thing. She was told that she needed to have thicker skin. I mean, so it was pretty weak.
Wow.
And I don't know what they do today, and I should preface that by saying, or add to that by saying, they also put you in stressful situations. That's probably the biggest psychological prep you get, is they dump you in places like underwater, like in the mountains in the winter, like in the winter in Russia, and you're with your crewmates or potential crewmates, and you deal with the stress of life in a tough place. And that's probably the best psychological treatment you get. And that's probably what they would tell you in reality, which is good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I just wish I'd have thought about it more that way before I went. I probably could have kept more valuable information in my brain that I could have used, because I had some stressful stuff on my 5 months in space. Stuff was happening to Sue on the ground and my kids that shouldn't have been happening. And when you're in a tin can 250 miles away and you can't do anything except talk to your wife on the phone. And, I talk in my first book, The Ordinary Spaceman, I picked up the phone one day and I always said, "I love you, I love you, I love you," because that keeps voice going over the loop long enough for the delay, so that she doesn't hear just deathly silence and think it's a prank call and hang up. So I always start every call with, "I love you, I love you, I love you," and I expected to get then in return, "I love you too." And she was crying, sobbing.
Oh man,
at her desk, and that story is an extensive story about what was going on in her life, in my kids' life, in my life, and in NASA's, how they treated it. So we get some for real in activities that they design to stress us out. The other stuff is really not a lot. And that's something I think we really need to think about when we go to Mars.
Yeah.
Right? How do you pick your crew? What are the stress relief ways that you can use on a Zoom call?
TBT to last week to that poor guy. Oh, hey-oh.
But I mean,
Didn't know the
there's
camera was
lots of
on.
things we need to think about for a 6 to 9 month trip just to get to your destination, where it's going to be desolate and dangerous and even more stressful.
How long are they planning to stay there?
I would guess, I don't know the real answer, but if you're 6 to 9 months to get there and 6 to 9 months to come home in the best case scenario, closest points of approach, that you have to stay long enough for that to align.
That's how I plan all my trips. If it's going to take me an hour to get there, I'm staying at least 2.
You do?
So there you go.
Are you kidding me?
So
I'm
it
not
looks
going
like
to drive an hour to stay 15 minutes.
Exactly. 3 times 9 is about 27 months. So I say whatever that is. In
couple years?
Probably closer to 2.5, 3 years. So long answer to a simple question.
Well, hopefully, okay. So this one might be long too. They went deep on these. I was gonna ask, hey, what's your favorite space movie, and which one's the most accurate and inaccurate.
Those are really the funner questions.
So,
did you poop in space? Yeah.
Yes.
I got no poop questions.
Oh, none.
Yeah, none.
They probably read
these are pros.
means they read my book.
Yeah, these guys know all about poop. They're good.
Okay.
Rachel Tortorisi asks, how has going to space changed your perspective on our place in the universe?
Oh, I always get that one. So I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I looked out the window 152 days straight from the International Space Station, and my feeling is that I believe none of that is random. I believe all of it is orderly and is there on purpose. Now, that being said, I also understand that most of these folks that ask these questions, it's a great question, by the way, will want me to say it's all about the orbital perspective. When someone goes to orbit, their perspective changes. I don't disagree with that at all. Most of them will tell you that, the atmosphere is so thin. It's so beautiful, our place on this planet, but we must protect it. We must save Earth for future generations. And I get all that. I agree with it. But, that's not the only thing. And I never thought that. That was something I just thought, wow, this is so cool. And God did it, and it's orderly, and the way the rivers come from the mountains down to the Gulf of Mexico. And
it all makes sense.
Yeah, and Africa the Sahara is a beautiful, deadly place, but it's, it's still there, and people survive, and Antarctica's there, and all that. But it changes my perspective this way. I believe in today's world, if every human being could spend a week in space, and then, if not before, spend a month in a third world country, everyone's perspective would change, and it would change for the better. And the other thing that gets me on these type of questions is people are always looking for the United Federation of Planets, right? We can all live together as one. Yeah, I don't think so. Because if you look at the hate that's out there, right? People in country X hate the United States because of what we have. And they want what we have, but they can't get what we have. And so that hatred I believe is always going to be there. And there's always going to be somebody, right? In every class you were in school, there was one person that was always mad. Right?
Yeah.
And nothing you could do, no matter how nice you were to that person or what you did for that person, they still had, for whatever reason, they still had that issue. And I believe that those people exist around the 7 billion people on this planet. And I don't know that we can get to that utopia that everybody seems to think we can all live kumbaya and all that. Now, putting people in space for a week and in a third world country would help us move along that trajectory. And that's what you want. That's what I want. I want people to start to move that way.
What does the space perspective give you? Like, I understand the third world country, but the space perspective.
The order.
The space perspective says, we're it.
It's like every other planet's got to be jealous of this
you
one.
You look at us, and we're all there is. We're the only intelligent life we know of. Now, then I say we're the only intelligent life on Earth. Well, some would argue that. But we're the only intelligent life in our solar system, and we're also the only intelligent life in our galaxy, and it's possible we are the only intelligent life in the universe. But the universe is a huge place. You said infinite of space, right? How do we know? And just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So, but the thing, the perspective shift you get is that this is us on a spaceship traveling through space. And that spaceship has environmental control and life support and food and gas pressurization system. It has thermal, electrical. It has everything we need. And so I always hated it when Stephen Hawking said we need to abandon Earth and go to Mars, right? Because he thought that we were destroying the planet. Well, I don't believe that. I don't believe in this crap that says we're going to destroy the planet. I believe that humans have a brain that develops, and we were smart enough, and we will figure this out, and we will find a way to corral the issues that we're finding and move forward such that our spaceship Earth can continue, because it's been around for billions of years. It's going to be around billions more, whether we're here or not. And so the question is, what do we have to do, and how do we learn, and how fast can we figure out how to do the things we need to do to protect that spaceship that we're on?
Thinking about the possibility of anybody else being out there, of any other intelligent life. And I've said this before, it's kind of like it's terrifying no matter how you say it, whether you believe there is or you believe there isn't. Either way is a terrifying prospect.
Oh yeah, that's a great. That's a quote from
right. Exactly. And I heard that, and that stuck with me. It was like, yes, that is exactly right.
Well, my analogy
we're the only ones.
Exactly. Think of the universe. This infinite universe is a pizza, and on one.
I like where this is going.
One crust of the pizza
is this a flat earther thing? I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding. Okay.
It could be a matzo ball. I don't know.
Okay. Let's go back to the pizza.
But if you're on the crust of that pizza and you're humans, the best we've done is 235,000 miles to the moon and back as a human species, right? Now we sent probes and stuff. Yeah, I get that. But as humans, right, we've only gone to the moon and back. So now imagine on this infinite pizza that there's a species on the other crust 180 degrees away from us doing exactly what we're doing. They've made it 250,000 miles away from their planet. Now, how do you meet that species at the pepperoni in the middle of this infinite pizza? It takes money, it takes intelligence, brain development, and it takes a lot of luck and time. And that's why exploration to me is something we need to continue to do. Because if you really want to find that intelligent life at the pepperoni in the middle, you got to do all that. And the people that say, well, there's intelligent life, they've been to Earth already. Well, yeah, okay. So if they have, then they can come see us anytime they want.
This is true.
Yeah, sure.
And where are they?
Right.
And they're in Antarctica.
I called them.
They're in Antarctica.
Okay, that's a whole
Don't
different
get me started,
podcast.
though. I know.
That's
Don't
a
get me started.
whole different podcast.
They're all in Antarctica.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get off on a tangent.
That's all right. I live on that tangent.
Yeah,
So-
It's our home
Pizza
zip code.
tangent.
Yeah, that too. All right, back to you, Chris.
And this one sounds like it was written by your publicist, but it says, will you write another book?
Yes.
And what do you think about the commercial space industry?
Oh, we kinda touched
I'd
on
love to
that,
write
yeah.
another book. I think my new children's book, Sleeping Bear Press, is the publisher, and they seem to like my work. So I'm hoping we can do another project or two with them. I'm actually thinking about jumping off a cliff and writing a murder mystery, a fiction.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's we'll see.
Okay.
And then I have another book that I'm trying to self-publish that's a volume 2 to my question and answer book called It's a Question of Space. So I'm working on that. Then the second part of the question was
Commercial space industry.
I support it. I think it's important that the taxpayers and the species on Earth, on our spaceship, benefit from the technology development that comes from spaceflight. The commercial aspect of it is good, I think, in that it creates a paradigm shift. You know, it was always the NASA government doing its thing, and the taxpayer paid for it, and we went and did some cool stuff. But I think guys like Elon Musk and Bezos and Richard Branson at Virgin Galactic, they're visionary people. They don't have the governmental boundaries and regulations that hold them back, which sometimes is good and sometimes is not good, but it allows them to think outside the box more than we do. I mean, now you see Elon's dropping rockets that just flew in space. He's landing them on a freaking barge in the middle of the ocean.
Which is amazing.
Yeah,
and
why don't we do that? Well,
Right.
we didn't do that because of cost and technology and yada yada. So the fact that he's doing it and Bezos is doing it with his Blue Origin stuff, those are good things. Those are innovative things, and I think of it as they're building the rental car for now that the astronauts will drive to wherever they're going, and eventually it will become a taxi cab where anyone can.
right.
Yo, taxi!
Yeah.
Should be awesome.
I want to go to space. I want to
Yeah.
go to the Hilton Hotel over,
Oh my
whatever.
God.
Uranus. Hilton Uranus.
Thanks, Pat.
Hilton Venus.
That's probably not the best piece of retail property.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Location.
Oh, right.
You guys, I miss you guys so. But it's a good thing. They're developing new technology that maybe we wouldn't have developed. We might have gotten to it eventually, but the ability, like I said, you go back to a week in space and a month in a third world country. The only way you can do that is with commercialization of space. The issue I have is what happens when 10 paying customers are killed in an explosion when their rocket blasts off and.
Which is, I mean, that had to be the same thought when they were first developing just airplanes or cars, because they had accidents all the time. But there had to be people that are like, I'm willing to assume the risk.
Exactly.
Because I want that.
Right.
And that's what it takes to move things forward. Otherwise, you don't end up with jets. You don't end up.
Can't be risk averse
Yeah.
with this. And so the question will be is when those people that accept the risk and then the consequences are ultimate, what do the other people do? The question is there a market for this? Well, right now there's a market for Lady Goo and Justin Bieber and those guys. But
Lady Goo and Justin Bieber.
I'd love to go back, but I don't have that kind of coin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. I get it, though. But it's funny how many people have already signed up.
Yeah.
That are like, here, charge it.
Hawking
it.
signed up before he passed away. I know he was signed up as well. So
Well, I think it'd be great to have somebody like you, like a tour guide.
well, it'd be a
Would be great.
babysitter.
Yeah, but, it'd be
Well, that's
somebody
what
who's been there before and know
they
what to
need
expect,
that.
and they can ask questions of whatever's around them. Would be something pretty invaluable, I think, to have somebody
we
up there that's
talked
been
about
there
that?
before.
Well,
I
I
was gonna
flew.
say-
I flew with a guy from Malaysia named Sheikh Muzaffar Shukor, and he flew as a Russian tourist, space flight participant, and he came to the space station when I was there, and he was under the tutelage of the 2 Russian guys. And then so there were 3 Russians and Peggy Whitson at the time that came up on the Soyuz with him. And then he was going to go home with Oleg and Fyodor, my crewmates, on their Soyuz. And he was a great guy, but he didn't know. I mean, he was, I don't want to use the word dangerous, but you had to kind of pay attention to what he was doing because you didn't want him to do anything that.
Don't touch that.
Yeah.
Don't set that there.
Yeah. Don't get poop on the urine. Oh.
See, we got a poop thing in there. Do you have any more questions?
No, thanks to Heather Smith for that question.
Okay.
Those are my questions, unless you
Thank
have a
you.
favorite
That's
space
awesome.
movie.
No.
Favorite space movie?
Is it hard watching a space movie? Like when we watch radio, whatever, podcast stuff on TV or the movies, it's weird. They don't wear headphones. They can still hear the phone. It's all stupid. So when you watch like Armageddon and you see Bruce Willis go just freak, does it drive you nuts?
On some it does. I laughed at Gravity. I thought that was so funny. There were some amazing things about the way they had the Earth and the, so you got to give him kudos for that. But the storyline and stuff was really funny. She's got him on the end of that tether and he's falling away. Let me go. Let me go. I don't want to let you go. I don't want to let me go. And all she has to do is go boink and pull just toward her.
Just a little bit.
Here he comes.
It's not like somebody was pulling him the other direction.
No, and my son.
So she didn't have to let him go.
Oh no! Wow. But my son, he liked what's the one with the wormhole?
Contact.
No, Interstellar.
Interstellar. He liked that
Interstellar.
one. I fell asleep in that one. And then this last one, this Ad Astra. Oh my God, that had to be one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I haven't seen that
I
one.
couldn't. Sue and I both went, and we were kind of excited, right? Had Brad Pitt and what's his name, Tommy Lee Jones,
Yeah.
right? And he finds his dad, and his dad's doing some project
Yeah.
at Neptune or something. And but it took me everything I could do to keep awake on that one.
I just feel like you're setting yourself up for disappointment when you go see a space movie.
I know.
Well,
I mean,
and a lot of them now though, they come to us and they ask some astronauts to be consultants, and
Which is smart.
yeah, but they just sometimes I heard what
they-
you said, and then they do whatever they want.
right, and then you're tagged as a consultant, and you look like the idiot for doesn't Clay know all he had to do is go doink, and he would have come right towards us?
They didn't ask me, and then the Away series that just got canceled.
Oh, it got canceled?
Hey, do you watch Away? Do you watch Away? Do you
Was
watch
that the one
Away?
they went to Mars?
Yeah.
I watched like the first few episodes of that. And she's when you mentioned about being on the space station and something happens at home
On
with
Earth,
your family,
yeah.
and she had to decide whether she continues on or she goes back
Right.
because this was it. And I'm like,
Let me guess, she continued on.
well, the show had.
Yeah, the show got canceled, so she must have quit.
I was so excited about Away, and then it started to get a little silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't seen it, so don't
Which
spoil
one?
it.
Okay.
Which one is it where I can see it and I cannot remember anybody that was in it, for God's sake. I can almost say his name. But anyway, Sling Blade.
Oh, Billy Bob Thornton?
Billy Bob Thornton. He
Oh,
was in
where
one.
he builds a rocket in his garage?
Yeah, that was
Wow,
hilarious.
that sounds-
And then there was the one
I've
where
not
he
seen
came
that
back, where one of the guys, they came back and he ends up in the walls of the house and he could see through.
Yeah, that's Interstellar.
Is that
Interstellar,
Interstellar,
yeah.
right? That is. I was going to ask because I was like, I didn't remember
That
the
one
name
was
of it.
bizarre. And then
I like that one though. I kind of do. I like that one.
Armageddon, I had to learn it. I had to watch it in Russian. Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Terrible.
You think it's painful in English,
Right?
Watch it
Oh,
in Russian.
man, that'd be rough. That'd be
Clay,
rough.
do you understand? No.
No, I do not.
Do not understand this. So we move to part 3.
Yes, this is not as like legit as that. This is a game.
Do you know what's the name of it
Well,
now?
we've got a couple different names. We've got it's Clay OK, like A-OK, whatever. Or What's in Clay's Cockpit. We've got all these different names. And that was her idea.
Whatever.
Yeah, that was her name. So this is
Nothing.
We do have music for it, and this is the. Oh yeah. I don't even know what that means, but it's. I don't know.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play an alarm that could potentially have gone off at some point in the cockpit of the shuttle. Or I guess in the International Space Station, I suppose, at some point. And you just have to tell us what that means, because you should know, like by the sound of an alarm, what emergency you and the crew,
What year is this? Circa.
circa whatever,
Oh God.
circa the last time Clay was in space,
Okay.
circa 2012.
10.
10?
10. In
2000.
space, 2010.
There you go.
Okay, 2010. Okay, so this sound effect is not sound effect. This is an alarm. I want to diminish that. Hold on.
Right.
Do you know what that is, Clay?
Yes, that would mean loose fecal matter floating through the space station.
Oh, that's coming up. That is not it.
Oh.
That is to alert you that you left your fanny pack on the roof of the shuttle when you launched. That is not
You
good.
did not look that up.
No, I'm just kidding.
I did have a fanny pack.
And did you leave it on the roof of the shuttle?
That's why they had to make that alarm.
Like, dang it, you leave the takeout Chinese on the top of your roof. Okay, so this alarm could probably scare you. I would.
That would
assume.
really be hard to leave something on the roof of the shuttle because it's launching, right? It would have fallen
on the nose.
on the nose.
The
Okay,
nose. The
all
tip,
right,
the
all
tip,
right.
the tippy
tip.
top.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So this second alarm, this one would be pretty frightening. This would be awful. If I heard this, I would be absolutely terrified.
Sounds like we're diving.
Yeah, if I'm absolutely
Well, you might
terrified,
be.
that means the toilet has broken.
No, it is your 100,000 mile distance to empty light came on. So you need to refuel.
What was your source?
The internet. Okay, so
So you're not going to get any of these right. Just
oh, I don't know. There's some good ones in here too, though.
Okay.
Like positive ones. Okay. Let's see.
Fire.
No, well, kind of. It's from Mission Control, directly from them, to remind you that you can only listen to so many Justin Bieber songs per orbit. It's 3.
Justin Bieber.
And you have
Three is too many.
right? You've hit your limit.
Wow.
Okay, let's go to this one.
Justin Bieber, by the way.
Yeah, right.
That's right. I forgot
Get it right.
That's nice
Lady
that you read.
Goo Goo.
Thank you, Lady Goo Goo.
Lady Goo Goo.
Okay, so this one. Ooh.
Aliens wanting to enter from the docking port hatch.
Play that again.
I wish that's what it was.
Sounds like the beginning of a really good Michael Jackson song.
Well, the new season of Riverdale is now available on Shuttle TV for you guys to watch. So then you're like, hey, you guys, did you hear that? We got something to do tonight.
It sounds like Space Law and Order.
It does. Space Law and Order.
That's good.
That's awesome. It does. Okay, so this one also scary.
That's my alarm clock.
That-
25 years ago.
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
My wife has sent me a text message telling me to bring bread home.
Or your popcorn is done.
I had popcorn in space. You do not want to have popcorn in space.
Did you have popcorn in space?
I had Boy Scout delivered in the foil pack.
Delish.
Caramel corn. It was delish, but when you open that pack,
it
goes everywhere.
Does
right?
it?
Because it's, you have to go. I didn't take a knife and cut it gently. I went,
Yeah.
and it went everywhere.
Really?
So we had a
Awesome.
popcorn chase.
So
That'd be a fun game.
like an Easter egg hunt. 6 weeks later, you find that fry.
Right, like I found it, Clay.
I found another one.
It's still good.
Okay, this one.
That could be an intercom alarm.
Sure.
That, hey, somebody wants to call you on the intercom.
Or it could be during your docking process that your left turn signal is still on. Just saying.
if I know where I'm going, nobody else should care.
Okay, and then these are positive ones. These are like, when you hear these in the intercom system, you should know this. You'd be like, oh my gosh, that's fantastic because...
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic because that's a SpongeBob SquarePants episode is on.
No, it's fantastic because new astronaut Terry just had his first successful BM in space.
Oh my God.
I think that was more like the bulb.
Yeah.
The Space Law and Order.
Space Law and Order. Definitely.
Okay, so let me see. Gosh.
Any more in there?
No, well, this one here.
Okay.
This is we'll do 2 more. I got like
Okay.
56 of them.
2 more's fine.
Yeah. This is something sound heard inside the cockpit of the space shuttle, and you would know exactly what that is because
Because that's Yuri opening another bottle of cognac.
That's funny. I was going to say, because it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
we're going with that one. I don't care about this one. That was good because it had to do with Uranus, so that one's better. And so this last one, and this is kind of a good one to wrap it up on.
Leaky toilet.
No, this is a notification on your phone that says the Pat and JT can call me a friend payment of $1.99 per month has been received in your account.
Oh my God.
God, price has gone up.
There you
So let's close out that segment.
Okay.
It's so weird.
My mom listens to this. Come on,
I
man.
know. Well, no, he's happy. I googled happy sounds or whatever, and that dude's voice was there. I swear to God.
Maybe you should have. I should have specified the kind of happy.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. All the same thing.
It is Uranus.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. All right. So you're going to be in town Saturday that people can catch out at
3:30 to
Museum.
5 at the Strategic Air Command and Aerospace Museum in Ashland, Nebraska.
Very cool.
Thank you for taking the time to come
Cool.
here and hang with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I love you guys. You have been so great to me throughout my career.
Even my gosh, I got to think. God, that had to be what year we started talking to you. Is like, it had to be like more than 12, 15.
Oh, yeah.
12,
Well,
15.
at least 2007.
That'd be
Yeah,
30.
it was way
you-
before you even knew you were going to go on your
Yeah.
last shuttle flight.
And then you talked to Mom several times.
Yes.
And then I know I called you in 2010. We were in Houston in crew quarters, quarantined.
Yep.
And I called, and we were 12 hours shifted, right? We were up at midnight. You guys were asleep at midnight. But I remember getting ready to go to bed, and I called your station and asked you if you would play our theme
Yes.
for my
Rocket
launch.
Man? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got teary-eyed, and then I thanked you and went to sleep. And next thing I knew, I was flying in a jet to
Yeah, it was
Houston.
awesome.
It was, and they used that music too, didn't they? In your documentary, did they use your mom's that
No, you know,
piece?
we did that piece, and then we used it when you had your
Thing
the
at the
face
bar
That's
room
right,
floor.
bar room floor.
Yeah, because that's one of my best memories
Oh.
of the last 25 years is not only talking to your mom because she was hilarious, but also being part of that event, being able to MC that.
Oh my
for
gosh,
that
we
event
had
was
so much fun.
oh my gosh, it was just fantastic.
Well, I know when you played that clip, I cried.
Yeah.
You know, because
It was her talking about, and what was the joke she talked about?
I thought about it earlier when
This
you were
is
talking
hilarious.
about
I
the
love-
shuttle.
Yeah, right. What was it? How did she put that?
she said when you're getting on a rocket that's built by the lowest bidder.
It's always built by. Just remember, it's always built by the lowest bidder. And,
Instills
and when
confidence.
we were talking to her, we're like, "Wait, what? Oh my god, that's hilarious!"
Well, that's not her line. That's Alan
was
Shepard's
so
line, actually,
funny.
from back when he launched
Yeah,
1961. So,
obviously left an impression.
so my
on
mother
her.
was well read.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was.
she was.
She's probably thinking, "What is my son doing?"
I just, you
Because
know,
things haven't changed.
you guys never met my dad, but if you would have met Dad, Jack, I can only imagine Dad in Florida, in Cocoa Beach, a couple days before launch. He probably would go into every 7-Eleven, Walmart, every store he could find, and start walking around going, "Hey, my son's launching on the shuttle. My son's going up."
Of course, all dads do that. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it. Well, thank you so much for coming in and being on our podcast.
Thank you. Anytime. I love you guys, and best of luck, and
Thanks.
Thank you.
I hope things continue to rock and roll for you.
We are
Can't wait for the
anticipating
next
there.
book. We're ready for the next one. Well, we'll see.
You know, don't get your hopes up.
Okay.
Quick little 30-second. What are you thinking of for your murder mystery?
The title's called Tethered Hope.
Ooh, is it a space one?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it'll be
Love
about
it.
a murdered astronaut.
Yes.
And then
So-
we'll have the movie soon.
Yeah, I'm playing the part of Clayton Anderson.
It's Brad Pitt.
Right.
right.
Oh, William
right.
Shatner. He turns 90.
Brad Pitt. All right. Thanks, Clay.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's Pat and JT on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And text us 402-403-9478.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.